Guys, welcome back to the Money Game podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the first 6 episodes. For our next episode, we have Karl Griggs, owner and founder of CPC Finance, the finance brokers that sponsor this podcast and make this show possible. In this episode, I talk with Karl about the importance of having a very good finance broker as part of your power team when investing in property, the qualities, the traits you need in a finance broker to be successful in your property deals, and also how he's built an extremely successful firm that last year reached a lending total of £100 million. So thanks for tuning in to the Money Game podcast. Enjoy it.
You have to.
Yeah.
And also you have to get an understanding over to them of doing the right product the right way, so that they can get to their end goal. Because a lot of them will have seen other investors online, Instagram, whatever, building their portfolios. They all want to be the same. Mm-hmm. But it's explaining to them about using the right products to get there and not taking shortcuts or doing it the wrong way.
Karl, absolute pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for sponsoring the podcast. You know, you're making this possible, and thank you for seeing the vision and understanding the story that the podcast is made up of. So you are the owner of CPC Finance.
Yep, I co-own it with Julie.
Yeah. Nice. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I've been in the industry 35 years, and I've seen a lot of changes over the years. That eventually we decided to set up CPC Finance. We've been traded now approaching 18 years.
Nice.
In the totally purely in the broking market.
Yeah. So huge experience. Been in it a long time.
Many recessions.
Weathered many recessions. What would you say is a kind of almost a secret also, almost that you managed to be able to do that?
Being able to change. Finance over the years since I first started has moved in very many different sectors.
Yeah.
Going purely, starting in just residential. Mm-hmm. The buy-to-let market wasn't there then, and now moving from the buy-to-let into the investment, multi-unit, commercial market.
Yeah. And how have you, managed to kind of scale on that and go from different things?
It's progression, and seeing what the market's moving with.
Yeah.
And changing to accommodate the need for the finance of what's going on at the time.
Yeah. So what kind of projects are you working on at the minute? What are the usual projects that take up most of your time?
The majority of our business now is on the investment side.
Yeah.
Mainly the multi-unit conversions, buying, converting to multi-units, HMOs, commercial to residential, just ending up with a property that's not just generating a single let income.
Yeah. And you cover finance for every type of deal, right?
Any type of finance secured on property and land.
Yeah.
In any format, first and second charge, bridging, development, etc.
What do you think the importance of having, very good broker as opposed to, having one? I mean, everyone starts off new, but maybe having one who's extremely experienced and maybe one who's just, haven't got as much experience as you have.
I think it's for the investor stroke client, it's having confidence that you're working with someone that's going to, one, be there for you all the time, 24-hour access, working actually a relationship, and being able to meet the needs and majority of the time the time scales that they need to their deadlines met in.
Yeah, as a firm, you work with a lot of investors and a lot of deals. And one thing that is common when I speak to other investors about you guys and the people that you work with is that they say that you're on the ball, you move very quickly. How do you kind of manage to balance that with being, having so many deals and a lot of clients, but then still being so quick and efficient?
I think the majority of it is the knowledge and knowing what requirements are. What we try to do is build a service rather than, I'm not there for the lender, I'm there for the service of the investor. And what we like to do is get all the information on the initial deal, and build the portfolio with you as you go along. So apart from something like proof of deposit or up-to-date bank statements, we'll have everything on file.
Yeah.
We'll have your ID, up-to-date property schedule, know what's going on when fixed rates are coming up to expire, making sure the products are in place. So you do what you're good at, which is find properties.
Yeah.
We do what we're good at, which is arrange the finance. You have a solicitor that's part of the equation as well, that deals with the legal side, so that it's a smooth process. So as we like to say, you go out and do what you do good, and we'll do what we do good.
Exactly. Yeah. And in terms of new property investors who don't have much experience, do you feel like maybe there's an extra bit of maybe service that you kind of give to them? Do you kind of hold their hand a little bit more than other seasoned investors?
You have to.
Yeah.
And also you have to get an understanding over to them of doing the right product the right way, so that they can get to their end goal. Because a lot of them will have seen other investors online, Instagram, whatever, building their portfolios. They all want to be the same. But it's explaining to them about using the right products to get there, and not taking shortcuts or doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. And a huge strength that you guys have as a firm is that you have very strong relationships with lenders. I mean, you've been in the game for over 30 years. So you've managed to build up super strong relationships with lenders. How have you kind of managed to do that? Is there a strategy behind that, or is it just good communication?
You can have a good relationship with a lender based on the quality of the packaging of the applications.
So they trust you.
Yeah, and we know what they want, and if we give them everything and their team like dealing with us because of the way that we package it, it's a smoother process, and therefore they're not more amenable. It's still the same product, but they're happy to work with you so that we can build a relationship. And then as you build it, you speak to more people within the lender, and you get a better understanding, or they get a better understanding of making commitments to you.
Yeah, sure. And we're speaking a little bit off camera about some deals that you do, which I think is a really good thing to have as a broker. Your broker himself is investing in property, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
Do you find that as?
We got within the company we own some properties ourselves, HMOs.
Yeah.
So we've been through the journey ourselves as well. So we can see it from both sides. Particularly say with HMOs about the licensing, the planning, and both of those that we got now were done via conversions. So we've been through the day one stage and stage two as well. Yeah. And they're being managed. So it's an ongoing process that we can relate to with the individuals, and we can talk about it with them.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you kind of see property investing going at the minute? What's your perspective on it? Is there any certain trends, a lot of similar deals that are coming your way?
The trends of mortgage finance evolves, and what I mean by that is, from 30 years ago where it was residential into buy-to-let market, the buy-to-let market then reached a peak because of change in regulation and affordability. Yeah. It's now gone into multi-unit, and now it's gone from multi-unit flats and HMOs to now into commercial to residential. So I think it will go further that way, because the main point about the HMOs, particularly the conversions ones, is getting the sweet spot of buying it at the right price. Yeah. The GDV is not going to change. So if you overpay at day one, you're going to have money tied up in it. Yeah. So it's now moved on, and the commercial to residential with the new planning changes has made that easier. So it's a bigger market, and I think you'll see more high street retail units being converted or being snapped up, and that's where the trends seem to be going at the moment. And then you've got bigger office blocks eventually.
Yeah. How would you guys kind of work as a firm? What would you say to people who are maybe wanting to get into property, but maybe they're a little bit worried about their situations in terms of maybe credit or lack of experience? Is there a way for them to get into it?
Yeah, there is, and it's stepping stones really to build up your experience. Now, your first project is always going to be your dearest because you've got no experience. Yeah. So you have to accept that if you're going to go it alone, you're going to pay a premium, but that premium will start coming down. Yeah. Or you go into a joint venture with someone that's got the experience, but then you're either halving your profit or whatever percentage you agree on. But it gets you over that first hurdle. And the more experience and and the more experience you document, the more doors open in terms of finance. And each stage that you go, as I say, like from single unit to multi-unit to bigger projects, particularly when you want to touch and get into full-on development, it's all about experience. So you have to build that up, either with other companies, with joint ventures, or pay a premium on the rates.
Yeah. I really hope you're enjoying the show. I would just like to ask for 1 minute of your time to tell you about my sponsor whose support makes the show possible, CPC Finance. CPC Finance is a finance broker that specializes in sourcing and packaging a wide range of property funding. You name it, from buy-to-lets to commercial properties, auction investments, property developments. They are everything you'd want as a finance broker working for you on your property deal. They're extremely experienced. They know their market extremely well, which means they can move quickly. They're on the ball. They've been in the game for 30 years, which has enabled them to, one, build very strong relationships with a variety of lenders, which as an investor is super important, especially when things don't go to plan. Deals in certain situations aren't straightforward, which is often the case. They are bespoke specialists. And two, they have a brilliant understanding of all types of property investing. They know the strategies, they understand deal structures. There isn't anything these guys haven't seen, they're seasoned pros. So if you're someone looking for property finance of any kind, go to cpcfinance.co.uk, and on the homepage you can schedule in a call at whatever time or day suits. Would you say lenders look more for experience over the deal itself?
Ultimately, they're lending on the deal. But the property is the property. So if you bring it and I bring it, we're bringing the same property, but you have got experience I haven't. They'll lend to you. So in terms of development, heavy refurb, that sort of products, it's all about experience. There are ways of funding it, but it'd be more expensive than you expect the person with experience would have paid. And no one likes overpaying.
That's why I think it's a great thing that you guys have done and linked up with Savoy's, who's been on this podcast also, is that the game changers. That's something that we've built up with Savoy's because of their experience. And again, the only reason that we've been able to successfully get the products is because of their experience, that they've performed with these lenders previously. So they've got a track record. We've done the finance for them all the way through, and it's been financed with the same banks. So everybody's comfortable with the arrangement. We've got the same solicitor acting. So all you're doing is putting someone else in as the client. They own the property, but the actual work is done by the team, us as four, i.e. Savoy's, us, the solicitors and the lender as a team to get them on it. So what does that look like for an investor, as a client?
Sit back, put your feet up and do nothing.
But
in respect, that's it. So it's for people that have got, there's two ways of looking at it. People that have got money but haven't got the time to do it, or people that have got the money and don't want to do it. Now, what it can achieve is it gets you the first hurdle, because you can go to the bank after you've completed your first one, and on paper you've got all the experience in the world. Now, do you want to still do that yourself? You've got your money out. And the other advantage of it is that we get the end product on the term as well, based on knowledge of the area. Savoy's finding the property that they know at the right price, going back to the sweet spot, will give you the GDV to get your money out to go again. And what we find, or what we have found, is that everybody's done their first project with us do their second and don't go off on their own, because they haven't got a team of builders ready, they don't know the actual costs of the works, and they don't know how to manage it. Also, you've got the licensing and planning that can be involved, particularly on the commercial to residential ones.
So with the game changers, is that something that's fully up and going, up and running?
Proven track record.
Nice. How many have you done it?
We've completed, overall, we've completed over 10 projects.
Amazing.
And that's HMO conversions, commercial to residential projects as well. And we've got a number ongoing.
What's kind of the theme of the investors and the clients that come into you and want to use the game changers? Are they like a certain caliber? Are they someone who's really inexperienced and have a bit of money and want to get into it? What does the investor kind of?
We've had we've had inexperienced people that have only got a couple of buy-to-lets and see where they want to get. We've had people that are even in the mortgage business that have signed up for it. So we've got all categories. And again, it's more about the right property in the right area producing the right income.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to explain like that easily, but
Of course.
the guys that buy the properties, i.e. Savoys, know what they're buying.
Yeah. So to sum up, the game changers is someone who can come in, buy a property using you guys as a broker, Savoys as the developers almost.
Well, Savoys will find the property.
They'll also find.
They find you
okay,
it.
Cool.
Make sure the price is right and give us figures before you commit to it.
Yeah.
So you know the day one finance if you want to use it, and the end finance on the term. They find the property, agree the price, do the conversion, and manage it coming out.
Amazing.
And that's why the lenders are happy with that product, because in effect they're actually lending to Savoys. Although it's in the client's name, they're backing Savoys as a business.
That's huge for the clients as well, because one, like you said, that's their track record. So it's not like Savoys has done that. Lenders in the future will look at it as if that's on your track record as well.
And the good thing for us is, which is a part of it, if it goes wrong on one of their projects, it affects their own finance with the bank. Yeah. So they've got every reason to get it done on time with the right results. Yeah.
Would you say you set this up? A strong reason for it is because maybe you see a lot of investors making a lot of mistakes, or investors struggling to get started in property?
I think it's a number of reasons. One, people do make mistakes. One of the common mistakes with HMOs is they get a license, but they haven't got the right planning.
Right.
That's a simple one. It's getting the property at the wrong price, and so that when we do the GDV valuation, the figures don't stack up. And again, it's not only buying the property at the right price, it's buying the property in the right place. Yeah. Because the project like that, the equations don't work, say further up north, because there isn't the return on the money. Yeah. There's a good return on the rental, but not on the actual appreciation. Yeah. So you've got two different scenarios and a number of reasons why it works.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to touch on is because I think there's a big misconception about it sometimes. I've kind of really seen it a lot more within my industry, in the sporting industry, whereas people see all debt as bad debt, which I don't think is necessarily true. There's good debt and bad debt, and I think it'd be great to get your perspective on that as a finance broker who delivers debt in a way, but good debt. What do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
There's two sides to that. Debt working for you as a business is good debt. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, if, for instance, taking a Savoy's property, say you're buying a property at £500,000. Yeah. And £400,000 is debt. You're only putting £100,000 cash in. So in effect, if you want to pay cash for it and pay £500,000 because you don't want debt, you're only doing one project. Yeah. They can do 5 projects for you for the same money. Exactly. As an example. But that debt is then working for you. Yeah. If you're doing, if you're borrowing money to pay off money, i.e. debt consolidation on loans and stuff like that, then it's not working for you. All it's doing is rolling debt over debt. Yeah. So there's two different types of it. Debt that works for you as part of a business tool is good debt. Yeah, perfect. To wrap it up, last question is 3 vital qualities that you feel like you need from a broker, that your broker should have for you to have the best chance of being successful in property investing. The first one is a relationship, and you've got to feel comfortable in the relationship. And what I mean by that is that you've got to understand what the client wants, they've got to understand you, how you work, and you work together. It's not an us and them situation. Sometimes I feel like a referee, because our job as a broker is that we're dealing with a client on one side and a bank on the other side. And we have to put the two together. There's always going to be problems, not problems as in not getting the money, but asking for more information, and you're going backwards and forwards. And it's appeasing that and keeping two parties together. So they've got to have a relationship. Yeah. Second one, I would say, is confidence of producing what you need, particularly on the timelines if you're buying something at auction. So they're the main two. And the third one is service. We're there to give you a service. And as I say, that could be 24/7, phone calls in the evening, at weekends, they've been to see a property, going to see a property. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, no, amazing. No, thanks so much for coming on. So guys, you have it, CPC Finance. Best place to contact you, website?
Yeah. Instagram.
You're everywhere, aren't you? You're all on socials.
Yeah.
Yeah. LinkedIn.
Yep.
We'll put the website somewhere in the description. It's go on your website. On the website, I mean, you can arrange a call back within like 24 hours.
Yep.
And have a.
Well, it's a specific on there
Yeah.
that you can actually request the time, so we can.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
day and time
24
that
hours.
suits. Have a chat. Understand your situation and your deal, and then take it from there.
Pleasure.
Perfect. No, thanks so much.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
Cheers.